Okay. What's going on, LBHT crew? B, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. It's another week, another lovely Wednesday. Hope you guys' weeks are going well, but if not, hope it starts to get better starting right now. Uh, we got a lot to talk about tonight. You see in the headline, we always give you the Ravens content, all right? And I kind of posted this question in a different way last live stream. We were talking about Julio Jones. I posted it again in the title. Will the Ravens make a Super Bowl run? Not can. Will they? We're going to get into that. Okay, we're going to get into that. We got some Panthers talk. We're going to talk about the owner, David Tepper, and his plans or his desires to get a new stadium. Okay. We got our man KD, Kevin Durant versus Jwill. Jay Snitching Williams. We got a few other things to talk about, man. Let's take a look at the chat. Felipe Moreno is in the house. What's going on? Thank you for joining the live stream. Raven Ron, thank you for coming through. How you doing,
Raven?
Yeah. All right, everybody's starting to funnel in. I see the views going up. All right, give you guys a couple of minutes to get in here. You guys know how we like to start this show. Ron TV. Okay, what's going on, Ron TV? Thanks for coming through. Ron? Appreciate you coming through. Derek Weatherly, right on time. Appreciate you coming through, man.
What's going on, Derek?
Yeah. So, all right, as people start to come in, you guys see the topics. I like to put the topics in the description. We don't put every single topic in there because we kind of go with the flow of the show sometimes. Godson, what's going on? Thank you for coming through, Godson. All right.
Through every time.
Every time, man. Appreciate you coming through. All right. So you guys know how we like to start each show. We like to start each show with a Black History fact. And B has a Black History fact for you.
And I just want to say what's up to Noah Driscoll. Yes, we are going to talk about Mayweather versus Paul.
Man, your comments, your questions are perfect timing. Go ahead.
So we are going to talk about Mayweather versus Paul. So I figured why not share a Black history moment related to boxing, right? And as most people know, Jack Johnson was the first Black heavyweight champion of the world. He won the belt in 1908, and didn't make a lot of people happy when he won that championship belt. So from that point on, people started looking for the great white hope to beat Jack Johnson. And they couldn't find him. He had several fights and he won them all fairly easily. And so people started calling for a former champion, Jim Jeffries, who had retired, to come out of retirement to fight Jack Johnson and get the heavyweight championship belt back. Jim Jeffries had been retired for about 5 years at this point, and they said he had ballooned up over 300 pounds, and he was enjoying his retirement. And this world famous author, Jack London, he came out and he had a quote about it. He said, one thing now remains: Jim Jeffries must emerge from his alfalfa farm and remove the golden smile from Jack Johnson's face. Jeffries, it's up to you. Jeffries, it's up to you. The white man must be rescued. So eventually they convinced Jeffries to come out of retirement to fight Jack Johnson. They set up the fight in 1910. It was the fight of the century. They planned to film it and distribute it afterwards. They were hoping to make $1 million or so. They get into the ring and Jack Johnson beats the brakes off of Jim Jeffries for 15 rounds because Jim Jeffries has been retired. He's not in shape anymore, and he just wasn't the same fighter. You are muted, Jose, so I don't know why you're talking.
I said because he was 300 pounds.
Yeah. Well, no, he got back in shape. That was well chronicled over the radio. They would send out updates on his training and everything. So the reason I'm telling this story in particular is that once that fight ended, there were riots all over the country.
Well, how did the fight end, B?
Oh, yeah. Yes. My apologies. Because it didn't go the full 15 rounds.
No, it did not.
Within the 15th round, Jim Jeffries' trainer, who had told Jack Johnson previously to get ready for the beating of his life, had to beg and plead Jack Johnson to stop hitting his friend Jim Jeffries, and they threw in the towel. After that, there were riots all over the country. Violence broke out. 19 people were killed. 251 people were seriously injured. And Congress actually passed a law saying that or banning or outlawing interstate travel or transporting prize fight videos between states, so they couldn't distribute the video of the fight.
Yeah, they didn't want that getting out.
They didn't want that getting out. They didn't want more people seeing it. They didn't want more violence, and they didn't want Jack Johnson to make more money and people to see Jack Johnson fight. So people were very upset about that. Jack Johnson kept the belt for another year. He lost in he kept it for another 5 years.
5 years, I believe. Yeah.
Once he lost it, they did not allow another black heavyweight to fight for the title for over 20 years until Joe Louis. So that was just a little story about the history of boxing there, because we're going to talk about Mayweather and Jake Paul. And I was originally looking for who was the first $1 million purse winner in boxing. For that fight, Jack Johnson got paid what was the equivalent of about $3 million today.
Yeah. There's a little discrepancy when we looked up like who was actually the first to make $1 million. Jack Johnson, for his time frame, he was $3 million fight, and a lot of hurt feelings. And look, man, the thing with fighting, with boxing, with combat sports, a lot of emotions are tied to it, and race is a big part of it, right? You have black fighters, Mexican fighters, white fighters, Puerto Ricans. Like, I mean, these are big things. When Mexico and Puerto Rico fight each other, that's a huge thing. Black and Mexican fight, it's a huge thing. We see some comments last week when we mentioned Mayweather and Logan Paul. Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. There's some strong feelings, right, towards Tyron Woodley. Like, look,
about how Tyron Woodley needs to show up and represent.
Yeah. So there's a lot of emotion tied to it. So we wanted to tie that into our first topic, which is over the weekend, Mayweather and Logan Paul had a boxing match, and a lot of people. Yes, they had a boxing event, right? Yes, boxing entertainment, if you will. And look, a lot of you guys were upset about it. I don't know what you were expecting, but it was pretty much what I thought it was going to be. It was a spectacle. It wasn't serious, but there's a lot of chatter out there from a lot of people saying, hey, this, all these YouTube fights, they're hurting boxing, right? So the next topic is going to be, are YouTube fights hurting boxing, right?
But before we get into that, I just want to say a shout out to Click One and Yazar, Tony Hendo, our guy Suge Knight, Jwill, and Davon coming through. Thanks for joining the stream.
Appreciate you. Oh, Tony Hendo, what's going on? Yazar, Click One, Suge, what's going on? Appreciate you coming through. Jwill, yes, LBHT crew. Oh, our man, Emphasis is here. What's going on? Thanks for coming through, LBHT crew. Yes, exhibition. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was, Davon. Felipe Moreno says Owe was shining yesterday in training camp. Yeah, okay, we're gonna get into that. Let's finish up this story. Yeah, trust me, we're gonna talk a lot of Ravens. That's why we want to start out with this. Ravens. We're gonna spend a good chunk of our show breaking down the Ravens situation. So don't go anywhere. We're gonna get right to that. So yes, look, it's like I said, boxing entertainment. That's what it is. I don't even think they were trying to sell it as anything else. You know what I mean? King of Pugo, what's going on? Appreciate you coming through. King? Yeah, Raven Ron says, some dude said Willie won't be welcome back to the black community if he didn't win. That was a couple people.
Well, yeah, again, Nate Robinson's still in hiding. Like,
yeah. Look, I mean, they understand what it takes to put on a show. But does this hurt the sport of boxing?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, this isn't even officially a part of boxing. Like, Mayweather is retired. Logan Paul is not a fighter, period. Like, they're just putting on a show, and it's fine. Like, it's not very entertaining. I mean, I don't think it is, but Logan Paul has his fan base from YouTube. People love watching Mayweather. They love watching his persona. even more so than his fights at times. So, if they want to put on an event and go out and try and entertain some people, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think the problem that certain people are having, boxing fans are having, sports announcers, sports analysts, things of that nature. The problem that they're having is they look at it and they say, man, he's out there just fighting a YouTuber and just making a spectacle of the sport. It's just just a YouTuber. Go fight a real fighter. But what they don't understand is how big these YouTubers are. Like, they can't grasp the magnitude of the Logan or the Paul brothers, how big they really are. 40 million subscribers combined, right? They both have over 20 million subscribers. They get millions and millions and millions of views on their videos. That's bigger than the majority of these sportscasters out there. They are way bigger than Max Kellerman. Like, maybe not as big as Stephen A.
That's because he never released that follow-up album. That's why.
Right. But they are way bigger than the people that are talking about them. Way bigger. It's just a completely different audience, and they just don't realize it because they're not on, cable TV or CBS or Fox or anything like that. But they're, YouTube is huge. You have billions of users on YouTube, and the Paul brothers get a big chunk of those viewers. So yes, it's big for them, and those people that watch their videos may not necessarily be boxing fans, but they're fans of the Paul brothers, and they're gonna watch whatever they do. So that's why it's a huge event. So you can't look at it as it's hurting the sport of boxing. It's not really a boxing event.
Yeah, and also not even just Logan Paul fans. Like, there's people who, like with Mayweather, will tune in to see them get beat up. And there's still other people who will tune in just out of curiosity. Like, what's this YouTuber doing in the ring with an all-time great?
Well, that's the other thing too, right? And that kind of tied into our Black History fact. That was a huge fight. It was the fight of the century because, look, man, white America hated Jack Johnson because he would beat people up and smile about it, right? And they
said he would be cavorting around with not only white women but white prostitutes, and he ain't care.
Right. So you're talking about people that would pay anything. They would give anything to see him get beat up. And what was the reaction when it went the opposite way? Riots. And there's a lot. I mean, it's not as visceral with Mayweather, but there are a lot of strong feelings about Mayweather, which is why he's made so much money over the years.
Yes.
Because you listen to anybody talk about him, especially his detractors, they'll say he's a boring fighter. But everybody buys a Mayweather event because they're just hoping that's the day that he loses, right? You fight long enough, you're going to end up fighting somebody that can beat you. And every time he takes on a fight, they're just hoping this is the one. And it never happened.
Nobody wants to be the person who goes to work the next day but didn't see Tyson Douglas.
Yes.
Nobody wants that.
Yes. I think though, I think if you're one of those people that hated Mayweather, probably the most crushing one to watch was when he fought Canelo. Because this is a Mayweather that's almost 40 years old now, right? He's like 38 or something like that. And Canelo is hot. He's coming up. He looked unstoppable. And Mayweather took that fight and he literally gave him a boxing lesson for 12 rounds. Canelo said it after the fight, look, man, I just couldn't hit him. I couldn't say anything else. I just couldn't hit him. He hit me at will, right?
Fans are so much more upset about those Mayweather fights than the people that Mayweather beats.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we'll read a couple of comments here. Yes, Sugar's absolutely right. Stop buying fights and they won't happen anymore. Yeah, but you're paying for the experience, right? You're paying for the experience. If you want to see a real fight, there's lots of boxing matches on for free on ESPN. Top Rank Boxing puts on a lot of, free if you got ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
But they put on a lot of good matches.
And DAZN.
And DAZN, yes. So if you're really worried about the state of boxing, go watch boxing, right? Boxing is doing just fine. Like, they're not hurting at all. There's a lot of fighters that people are interested in. I mean, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. I mean, the fight's not happening right now because you got Deontay Wilder stepping in to fight Fury. But they signed a 2-fight deal. The first fight, they're each getting $75 million a piece
Yeah.
for the purse. That doesn't even include
that's the site fee.
Right, that's the site fee. So they're making a ton of money. They're gonna make more money than this fight just made. All right. Look, Wilder and Fury, we're not sure how much they're gonna make yet, but that's gonna be a ton of money. There's money to go around. Boxing is still huge. It's just that not every fight is going to be an exciting fight. Not every fight is going to be a fight. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of fighters out there. You don't know them all. So when you okay, B?
Yeah.
So I mean, when stuff like this happens, it's just a sideshow. It's nothing. Like don't look too much into it. It's just that you recognize the names. That's all it is.
Yeah. What's up, Eric L? Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate seeing you.
Eric L, thank you for coming through. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah. Well, what did I'm trying to read your comment here, Davon. Yes. Bank robbing legally. That's what Mayweather said. Yeah. Yeah, because he knows you're gonna spend the money. I mean, they didn't try to hide what it was. Right? I mean, they didn't really try to hide it. And you went in there and watched it anyway, and it's just like, well, what did we just watch? Exactly what you pay for. What'd you pay for the last fight when Jake Paul fought Ben Askren?
Yeah.
Right. What did you think was gonna happen this time around? Yeah.
What's up, Donovan? What's up, Jonathan Washington? How y'all doing tonight?
What's going on? Appreciate y'all coming through. What's going on? Yep. Raven Ron, Mayweather whipped up on Canelo and Cotto. Yeah, and I love Cotto.
And Pacquiao and Marquez and a whole bunch of other people.
Everybody. He went undefeated.
Yeah.
He went undefeated.
Well, he didn't whoop everybody. I mean,
he didn't whoop everybody, but he beat everybody. No, he didn't whoop
yeah.
everybody. He had some questionable wins, but not that many. Once Tim Tebow get released, he gonna get on pay-per-view fight against one of the Paul brothers. I can see that happening.
He gonna be the guest ref. Tebow don't fight.
Yep, lynchings. Yeah, Jwill, lynchings happened because of the Jack Johnson fight. Yeah. Yes, Davon, and hence why I don't get how we can be excited about Woodley versus Jake Paul. And that's the thing. Me and B don't quite agree on it. I feel like they've already agreed how that fight's going to turn out. I think Woodley might end up taking a dive. All right.
Yeah, that's what people are excited about is the idea or their perception that Tyron Woodley wouldn't do that, right? And none of us know Tyron Woodley, and they're offering him more money than he's ever made in a fight. So, I mean, maybe he will, maybe he'll take it easy. Who knows? Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of what people are excited because they think, oh, Woodley could knock out Jake Paul. Unlike Ben Askren, who showed up to the fight as somebody described looking like a bag of milk.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about MMA real quick. We'll get to some Ravens talk. There's a reason why Jake Paul is targeting MMA fighters almost exclusively. And Dana White hates it. It's because UFC doesn't pay the fighters.
Yeah.
They just don't pay the fighters, and it's easy to buy them off. That's why I feel like he is going to take a dive. I think Ben Askren took a dive. Ben Askren got $500,000. I think that was the most he's ever made in one fight. They're saying Tyron Woodley, after he gets his base pay and a piece of the pay-per-view, he's going to make a couple $1 million. That'll probably be the biggest fight purse he's ever taken. So why wouldn't they do it? It's harmless, It doesn't hurt their rep at all. I mean, his legacy is set. Tyron Woodley is one of the greatest welterweights of all time in UFC. Yes. This little sideshow is not going to do anything to change that. So, and it's boxing, it's not MMA. So what does it matter? I think Dana just hates that because now you have more fighters out there saying, "Look, I want to get paid." You got Paulo Costa, who just dropped out of a fight because he was just like, "Look, I'm watching these YouTubers make all this money. I want some of that money. Like I don't want to get paid pennies to be the main event. I want to get paid like they're getting paid." So, if it's hurting anybody, it'd be hurting UFC because now you see UFC fighters coming out saying, "Well, I want to do a boxing match like that, or I want to fight a celebrity."
See, Spirit of Justice agrees with you. Woodley getting KO'd for the bag.
Yeah, yeah,
maybe.
I think that's what's going to happen. Davon said, Adrian Broner trying to get a bag too with the Pauls. Broke self, called them out in the presser. That's what happens when other people, especially fighters that need money, they see how easy fighters like Floyd, get these matches. Because look, he's expected to make $100 million off of this fight. $100 million. He got $10 million base pay, and he's taking 50% of the pay-per-view buys. I'm not sure if it's been reported yet what the pay-per-view buys are, but they're expecting around 180 to 200 million in pay-per-view buys. So
in dollars, not
dollars, yes,
not actual buys.
Yeah, in dollars. So he's expected to make around $100 million. Yes. Okay, he made like 300 on the Conor McGregor fight. He makes a lot of money for these fake fights.
Yeah.
All right. Like, you would be an idiot not to take them.
What's up, Jazzy JJ? He says Woodley could possibly lose in a pure boxing match. If this was MMA, he'd destroy. Listen, I mean, anything is possible, but no, I don't think that Jake Paul could beat him in a boxing match.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
A guy who's been a trained fighter for, over a decade. I don't think he's losing in a boxing match to a guy who started out 6 months ago.
Right.
Or however long it's been. But, like I said, anything is possible. He's much bigger than Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
Much bigger. So,
Ferris says Floyd's been legally robbing the American public for the past 10 years.
That's not true, Ferris. It's not true. Listen, what he's been doing is giving the American public virtuoso performances for the past 10 years that people don't appreciate. Okay? That's
a fact. Well, what's going on, Mikey? Mikey from Off the Record Podcast. Make sure you guys follow them.
Mikey?
Zeke Hokage, what's good, man? Glad you came through.
What's up, Free Indeed?
Free Indeed. What's going on, Free Indeed? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Attitude Pop. I see you, Attitude Pop. Let me catch this comment before you. Des Bryant going to be the next fight if no one signs him. Man, how quickly do we forget about Des Bryant?
Yeah,
this time
it's weird. It's almost like we told you all that he was garbage and he shouldn't have been signed to begin with.
This time, not this time last year. It was a little bit later. It was during the season, but I'll never forget. It was one of the first live streams we did, and we said this is a waste of time signing Des Bryant. Oh, we had some comments.
But Felipe, try less, man.
Well, Felipe said,
I'm not reading that.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go.
That's like the fifth time you said that about Logan, man.
Listen, you guys are not going to paint me. You're not going to paint me as a Damian Lillard hater. I love Damian Lillard, y'all. Like, I'm a fan of Damian Lillard, but it's just when we're talking about the elite group, he's not elite. That's all.
We did forget to mention this. Thank you, Spirit of Justice. He said Ocho Cinco didn't look bad. What's up, Andre?
What's going on, Andre? Appreciate you for coming through. Yes, actually, yes. Absolutely. I'm gonna talk about that because he got clowned a little bit for getting dropped in the fourth round. But you know what? Look, it happens. He's not a professional fighter.
And even if he was, he's 43 years old.
Man, how many of you guys actually sparred before? I'm curious. How many of you actually got in the ring and just sparred a little bit, or even just did some shadow boxing with some gloves on? One round is tiring. Okay, even if you're in good shape, that's tiring. I think he looked good. Yeah, being 43 years old, not being a boxer, I think he looked good. He got caught with a punch, but he bounced right back up. And finished the fight. And if we were scoring the fight, I would have him winning the fight because I think he easily won those first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So, okay, he got knocked down. That's a 10-8 round, but he still wins, So I think he handled himself very well. He has nothing to be ashamed of, man. That was a good showing for an amateur.
And Raven Ron says Andre Johnson versus Cortland Finnegan round 2. Who wouldn't watch that? Exactly. Everybody loves a spectacle.
Now,
Everybody.
Yeah, and I've been saying this too. Well, I would love to see in these YouTube the YouTube fights is a whole undercard of YouTube beefs, right? I would love to see some of these YouTubers that are beefing with each other. Let's see how much you're actually beefing with each other. Jump in that ring, put on some gloves, and go at it. All right, yeah. I would pay to see that. I would pay to see that. In fact, I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head. But if you guys know any off the top of your head, any of these YouTubers that are beefing, man, drop it in the chat. Let's see if we can get some matchups here. Get a little pay-per-view going. Andre says, I actually think Dez could still produce, but I don't see him getting on another team. at least no time soon. Ocho gets hella props. That man got hard. Yeah.
Listen, I was about to put you in timeout until the second half of that comment, Andre. Don't bring that nonsense about Dez in here.
Yeah. Emphasis says, me after 30 seconds, the average person will faint. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he sparred before. Yeah, man. I did a little boxing, man. Early in high school, just a little bit playing around, but it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of conditioning. We go 4 rounds. Go hard, like not even sparring, like going hard at somebody. That's a lot. Yeah. Off the record says Chad got 1 mil for 6 minutes. I'll get knocked down for that. Hell yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't even hurt. He just got knocked down.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, that's easy money right there. Easy money. Felipe says, hold on. Can't imagine Chad Johnson. I am athlete right now. Oh yeah, they're gonna talk about that. I am athlete.
Brandon Marshall about to challenge Chad to a fight.
But you know what? That's good for their promotion because you watch that and you're like, man, I got to tune into that next episode to see how they react to it. I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Marshall gets on the card one of these next fights coming up. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Chad Johnson will probably say, hey, look, if you think you can do better, go ahead and do it. Because Brandon Marshall's been saying for a while that he thinks he can beat Deontay Wilder. Right? He really believes he's a good boxer. So look, man, let's see. Let's see what you got.
Those are 2 entirely different things. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Raven Ron says, oh, man, I didn't never spar, but I hit a punching bag for 3 minutes for 10 rounds and literally laid on the bag after that. I ain't ready.
Right. Yeah, no, it is exhausting.
It's work, man. It is work. Yeah, regular fights for a couple of minutes is a long time. You're right, Free Indeed. Absolutely. So, props to those guys, man. Badu Jack, shout out to Badu Jack, man. He had a good performance. I mean, the guy he was fighting was a nobody, but he was a last minute sub, but good for him.
Yeah, I didn't watch that fight because the last thing that I want to see on the card with Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul and Chad Johnson is a real fight.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm here for.
And my man Jared Hurd he embarrassed himself. But yes, Mikey. Mikey was thinking the same thing. Come on, man. You representing the hometown. You represent Maryland, man. You got to do better than that. B-Mar sparred with Holyfield. Yeah. That's why he thinks he could beat Wilder. Yeah, Holyfield is like 60 though. So I mean,
probably still better than Wilder.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's get to the next topic. I held you up long enough. That went longer than I thought it would go. Yeah. So,
well, that's because boxing is dead, Jose.
Yeah. Right. So last week, Julio Jones got traded to the Titans for a 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick, which was too rich for our blood apparently. And we spent almost 2 hours live streaming, ranting about it. And there were a few people. It wasn't just Garnett. Shout out to Garnett West. But there's a few people that agree with him. Hey, it's not a big deal. Hey, we did enough. There are people out there on Twitter. I'm sure there's some YouTubers out there that feel like we don't need Julio. We have enough here. It's good enough. We don't need to spend that money on Julio. We can spend that money on other things. And the Ravens did. They spent that money on other things. They re-upped Gus Edwards for 2 years. They brought in Juwan James, and they brought in another guard, didn't they? They brought in another guard. So, I mean,
he signed Michael Schofield. Yeah,
Michael Schofield. So, I mean, hey, look, money well spent, right? Why spend something? Why spend money on something that's quality when we can just go over to the clearance rack over here and get some nice cheap items? Look at all these items we got, though. Right? It's a lot. So I put it in the title, and I'm gonna ask you guys if you feel that way. If you feel like, hey, don't need Julio, let's go bring in these other guys. If you love these moves, you love that we extended Gus Edwards. If you love that we brought in Juwan James and Mark Schofield, you love those moves, and you're glad we didn't get Julio Jones. I'm gonna ask you: are we gonna make a Super Bowl run? Will the Ravens make a Super Bowl run? Not can they? Right? Not can they? Put your money where your mouth is. Are we good enough? That's a different question, right? anything can happen. Of course they can. Right now, of course they can. They can make a run. They can. I mean, anything can happen in the sport. But do you think we are the top team in the AFC? Because if the answer is no, you shouldn't be happy with what's going on. If the answer is no, signing Julio would get us closer to that. What comment are you reading, B?
Well, this was on the previous topic, just a little saying boxing killed itself when it went off of regular and cable TV, but boxing's not dead, just a little. It is still bigger at the top end than MMA is, and it's actually back on. I mean, it's not on regular TV. It's on ESPN Plus. It's on DAZN, but there are fights all the time that are easily accessible.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I know Mikey, he watches a lot of boxing. We talk boxing all the time. I feel like this is a good time of boxing right now. There's a lot of good, exciting fighters out there. I mean, are they going to be as big as De La Hoya, Julio Cesar Chavez, those type of fighters? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you're going to have some. I mean, there might be one or two that get to that level. There might already be some. I mean, let's be real. I mean, it's more publicized now, I would say, because of the internet. So some of these fighters, you may not look at them like they're these stars, but they might be as popular, if not more popular, than some of these fighters that you remember.
King of Pugo says we don't need Julio, but we damn sure could have used him. I sort of feel that way. Like right now, people think we don't need Julio because you're really excited about Rashad Bateman. So 4 weeks into the season, Rashad Bateman has 8 catches for a total of 93 yards. Do you feel the same way? Because you don't know what Rashad Bateman's going to be. 4 weeks in, he could have 400 yards. I mean, we'll see. But the point with going after Julio is he's a player what you're going to get from him. Know he can play. You don't know that about Rashad Bateman. We all think so, but we don't know that.
It's not about Julio. It's about that caliber of player that we keep passing up on. We don't necessarily need it. Like, I mean, we could win with the squad we have now. That could happen. It would take some luck. It would take some things to kind of go our way. But that doesn't give me confidence in the team, year in and year out. like I feel confident that the Chiefs will probably be back in the Super Bowl for the 3rd year in a row. Like, if you had to pick a team right now to make it to the Super Bowl, who would you pick from the AFC? I would pick the Chiefs.
Yeah, definitely the Chiefs. Yeah. And we got a Cash App question here, kind of tying into that. Again, thank you very much. This is, how long will Greg Roman be on the team in 2021? Now, had you traded for Julio Jones, the answer would be all of 2021.
Yeah,
but you didn't. So how long are you saying?
Yeah. All right, this will be a couple of comments here. Troy Grubb, what's going on? Appreciate you coming through. No, not this season. We are too cheap on offense. Facts. Hope everyone is doing good tonight. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate you coming through. Troy. Yeah.
So you've said multiple times you think Greg Roman is not going to last the season. So how long do you think he's going to be there?
Me?
Yes.
It all depends when we have a losing streak, right? It's possible. I mean, if we only lose 3 games, right, and they're spread out, yeah, he's not going to go anywhere. But the minute we drop 2, maybe 3 in a row, don't let us start. If we drop 3 in a row, he's toast. He's toast. I don't think we can lose more than 2 in a row for him to keep his job. But I can't answer that now. I had to look at the schedule.
Let me pull up the schedule real quick here, because I wanted to check and see when their bye week was anyway.
I mean, we played the Chiefs like week 2, man. It could be early.
Well, that's also what I want to see, because if you lose to the Chiefs, who else is around that game? So they're playing the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Lions, Denver, Colts, Chargers, and Cincinnati, and then they've got the bye.
Okay. He might be safe. I don't know, because when did Cam Cameron get fired? It was towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I want to say that was just beyond halfway through the season, I believe.
Was,
So just to answer your question, for me, I don't think he gets fired in season at all. I think that if they're going to fire him, it's going to be after next year.
okay. All right. I don't know. Like I said, it depends on if we get a losing streak and how bad that losing streak is. I think he could be gone, and how bad the passing game is. Sorry about that, Andre. I'm still hoping for a pass rusher. What pass rusher? What pass rusher are you hoping for? I love the moves at getting extra help for the O-line and extending Gus is great, but what we have now, and I'm confident I'm not gonna beat Mahomes blitzing everyone. What pass rusher are you holding out hope for? There's none left. I mean, at this point, you're not hoping for a pass rusher. They're all right there. You can get them whenever you want. They're hoping to get signed. So, yeah.
Listen, there's a few people saying that Lamar masks Roman's deficiencies. Well, if that were true, you wouldn't see them. But you all recognize that he has deficiencies, so he's not really masking it. He's overcoming them. Right, but we can all see what the problem is with Greg Roman.
Well, they're saying Roman masked Lamar's deficiencies?
No, Lamar masks Roman's deficiencies as a coordinator.
He does to a certain extent. He makes what he runs effective.
Well, no, I'm saying he overcomes it, because if he's masking it, that means you can't see it. That means you wouldn't be saying that Roman has deficiencies.
Mikey says 3 to 4 weeks if the offense looks bad. Yeah, we got it. It really depends on the offense, man. Deshaun says, I'm just sick of watching conference rivals get better while the Ravens do the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And gatekeeper fans act like every move EDC makes or doesn't make is perfect.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and set the chat on fire and talk about Gus Edwards here.
Yeah, and I just read Deshaun's comment. I know Deshaun loves Gus Edwards, so
I know. Damn it, I know. All right.
I'm not gonna set it on fire. I like Gus Edwards too, but again, it's one of these things where those are the moves that eat away at your cap. Mm-hmm. Paying $5 million here, cheap deal. That's a steal. Paying $7-8 million there. That could be a steal. We're talking about Juwan James, right? That could be a steal. Paying for Villanueva, who's not really, part of the long-term plans. Was he getting like 10 mil or, 9 mil, whatever it is, right? All these things that, not a big deal. But then next thing you know, we don't have the money for anybody. So when it's time to pony up for Julio Jones, we don't have the money. Where are we going to get the money from? We just spent it in the clearance aisle. That's where you spent it. Go return that stuff and get something of quality. Right.
Yeah, this is a thing that I noticed in Carolina a while back. I would go on like Over the Cap and pull up the roster because I'm like, there's no way we don't have any money. How do we not have any money? Like, how do we not have any cap room? And then you look and there's nobody really at the top making a ton of money. But then you scroll down a little and it's 6, 5, 4.5, 3, and it's just a lot of guys who are eating up just a little bit more than they should. Yeah, and they're not significantly better than what you would get with a cheaper player there.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with signing Gus Edwards. He's a backup running back. And the reality in Baltimore, he's your third string running back because he doesn't get as many carries as Lamar does. So right. Yeah, you say it's a cheap deal, whatever, but it's more than you should be paying for a backup running back. And also, again, we're going to say it again, J.K. Dobbins, why did you draft him in the second round if he's not going to be the man? If he's not going to carry the load for you, what was the point?
That's the other thing, too. Even if you like Gus Edwards, it's one of two things. Either we wasted our money extending him, or we wasted a number 2 draft pick on drafting Dobbins because they don't get used enough for what we had to give up for them. All right. Let me go back and read a couple of these comments. Jazzy JJ says, I don't think Bateman is the guy long term. I actually think Wallace will have more success in his offense. Getting a vibe that Bateman doesn't want to be here.
I don't know where you're getting that vibe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you feel that way, that's fine. In regards to Bateman versus Wallace, I mean, Wallace could very well be a better player. My hope is that just this offense isn't here long enough for that to be the reason, right? Like, you shouldn't be running this offense long term. Greg Roman got to go, get somebody else in there. But yeah, no, I mean, Tylan Wallace, I think will be successful. I like that pick a lot.
Yeah. Just a Low says Harbaugh is too insecure to hire an innovative OC. That's why all of his OCs end their careers after leaving the Ravens. I think part of it, I don't think it's the insecurity part. I think it's just he hires who he knows. The league is about nepotism. It's all about who you know. It has nothing to do with what you know.
Yeah.
Zero. Nothing. Right? It's all about who you know. Who you connected with. Are you friends with this person? Are you related to this person? And he's hiring people that he knows. People, because it's people that you trust. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is,
go ahead.
No, I'm saying, but the problem is in his case is he's getting guys who the game has passed them up. You know what I mean? Like, they want to play a style of football that doesn't work in today's NFL, and he won't get rid of them to get somebody innovative. So.
Yeah, so I think the main thing is obviously he's hiring his friends. He's hiring people that he knows, people that he's comfortable with. But I do think Just a Low is correct. A part of it is insecurity because he knows that these offensive coordinators that he's bringing in here are guys that he can fire no problem to save himself. Yeah. Like, there's no issue with it. You know, he doesn't care. You know, if he has to fire Greg Roman, it's whatever. He'll fire Greg Roman, just like he fired Marty Morningweg, right? Like, if it comes down to John or the OC, OC's gone, and he's not going to lose sleep about it. Yeah.
And his thing is, look, I put you on to begin with. You can't be mad at me, all right? You lasted for as long as you could. You got some easy money, all right? Felipe says Oweh and Houston will be a good duo like Suggs and Dumerville. No, they won't. Why do you guys always compare these players, these unproven players, to all-time greats? Like, Houston had a great run a few years ago. He was one of the top edge rushers in the league. Now he's not. He's not going to get it back, right? I mean, he's still sitting out there for a reason. He's not going to give you that kind of production. Always not going to give you that kind of production either. They're not going to be anything close to that kind of tandem.
Just a little, I do agree. He says, I bet you any amount of money hiring Williams and Higgins. Yeah, he means T. Martin, I think is who you're going for there. Weren't his idea. I'm telling you. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Felipe says, Fitz Vegas said that John is afraid. Who's Fitz Vegas? Afraid that a Julio type receiver would bump him and apply pressure on him, and Greg, because he know that Roman is not that good. Okay, you're saying basically he's afraid of bringing in a player like Julio Jones because he's gonna call for the offense to the offensive coordinator to do better. But the team is already doing that. Lamar has already called out the offense. Hollywood has called out the offense. Des Bryant has called out the offense. A former coach, the one that just went to Houston, David Culley. He just called out the offense. There's been plenty of players to call out the offense. So, I mean.
So King of Pugo says, JK can't play every snap. The Browns have the best 1-2. None of their fans are complaining. Well, Kareem Hunt's cheaper than Gus Edwards, first. And also, he doesn't have to play every snap. The point is that you don't need to pay a backup running back that much money. Lamar gets more carries than both of them. JK should be getting more carries than he is. What's left over can go to Justice Hill, or you could have drafted somebody on day 3 to pick up the rest of those carries.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If we were actually using these running backs more, I could understand it more. But Lamar's the main ball carrier. That has to change this year, by the way. That has to change. But he's the main ball carrier. And even if they cut back on his running, he's still going to be heavily involved. And like I keep telling you guys don't want to listen. You guys don't want to hear it about Gus Edwards. I love Gus too. Gus he ain't that good. He's not that good. Lamar gets him a lot of open lanes. All the running backs. Which running back has looked awful playing behind Lamar? Right? Like they all get yards. There's a reason for that. He creates that space for those guys, and that's fine. Gus is doing what he's asked to do. I have no problem with Gus Edwards, and he doesn't fumble the ball. I'm all good with that. I'm all good with him being here. I just have a problem when you prioritize getting the cheap deals over quality players. If you have to sacrifice Gus leaving in order to bring in Julio, then that's what you got to do. You know what I mean? If you have to sacrifice not improving the defense a little bit in your eyes by not drafting Patrick Queen and you go and get T. Higgins, then that's what you got to do. That's why I say hashtag defund the defense. Put the offense first. Make them a priority because nobody's going to get paid. Nobody's going to get the contract Lamar's getting. Okay? Nobody's getting the contract Lamar's getting because he is the number one weapon. He is the main priority. So start surrounding him with more talent. I mean, my goodness, man, why do we have to be the only team?
Wow.
What is it?
Felipe going hard on Gus. Like I haven't even gone that far. He said any running back can do what Gus does. I thought it said fullback at first. My bad. No. But I do agree with that. Most running, not any running back, but a replacement for Gus Edwards is not hard to find.
Andre said Houston had 8 sacks better than Judon Yannick. For the right price, he should be brought in. Who's the best pass rusher we have now? If you got to guess, that's the problem. What did Judon have? Judon had
6.
He had 6. Yeah, he had 6 sacks. But Judon was an all-around better player. I mean, Justin Houston is strictly I want to say just there on passing downs.
Yeah, right? He's a part-time player, and if you look at those 8 sacks, several of them were kind of coverage sacks, or the quarterback kind of ran into him. He doesn't bring anything else to the table. You're getting a worse player in Justin Houston than you had in the other two guys.
I mean, and there's not even a conversation to have. Judon and Yannick are much better players than Houston at this point. They just got contracts, and Houston is still out there. That tells you all you need to know right there. And that's not by mistake. But yes, for the right price, I mean, you can get him for a bag of chips. He's not going to cost anything at this point. They just don't want him, or they don't want him yet. And if we get him, fine. It's another move where I'm not mad at it, but I don't expect anything to come of that. I mean, I don't know. Are you expecting 8 sacks from Houston this year? I'm not.
No. Okay, so we got to move on. We got a couple other topics, and then we can come back to this because it is already late.
Okay, so all right. So before we go on to the next topic, let's plug our stuff, man. Guys, there are 33 people in here right now. Go ahead and hit that like button, okay? And if you're new here, take a minute to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos in the future. And if you want to support the show, there are a few ways you can do that. The first one is right above me, right there, patreon.com/LBHT show. All right, we have 2 tiers, $3 tier and $10 tier. And look, guys, if you got $3, you can spend per month, okay? Two Snickers bars. 2 Snickers bars. If you can do that every month, man, it is worth the price, man. Right after this show, we do an overtime show, which is a lot of fun. A lot of guys in here take part in it. Ferris, is part of it. Derek, Deshaun, Deshaun, and Davon. And what are you laughing at, B?
Ferris and Derek agreeing that Gus Edwards got too much time on this show. I agree with you too.
Hey, look, you guys want to talk about it? We talk about it. But yeah, so for both tiers, you get access to the overtime show. We just started our Discord channel, so you get access to that. That's already been blowing up. That's a lot of fun. And we have we're gonna have our fantasy football league coming up at start of the season, and our Pick'ems league. Mm-hmm. And both of those, we get a little prize at the end, a trophy or championship belt. And if you want to sign up for the $10 tier, you want to be a big spender, okay? You get one of these nice, shiny coins. All right,
Felipe, this is how you be a baller, man. Don't follow Logan Paul.
Yeah. Logan Paul ain't got one of these. Okay, he's got all that stuff. He might have the money, he might have the subscribers, he might have the views, but he ain't got one of these. All right. And pretty soon nobody will be able to have them except the the 20 people that's sign up, because once they're gone, they're gone. We're going to have something else in store for the $10 tier. It just won't be that. All right.
Eric L asks, how many rushing attempts per game will Lamar have this season? I hope very minimal, 3 to 5 per game. The Ravens should let him throw the ball around to his playmakers instead of running it so much. Absolutely agree. I think that he's going to have, I'm going to say about 11 a game, because I don't think they're going to run him less at all.
Yeah. All right, real quick, let me get through my ads. Right above B, Cash App, okay, $ LBHT show. If you're looking for that super chat button, if you're looking for that super chat button, we don't do super chat, okay? That's our super chat right there. If you want to highlight a comment, just go ahead and drop a donation, leave your comment on the Cash App, and we will read it on air. And we're working on a little graphic for the people that donate on Cash App, so you can actually see it on screen. That's coming soon. And one last way to support, because we haven't been plugging this nearly enough. If you like what we're wearing, you like our gear, do you like this stuff? Do you like what we're wearing right here? Well, you can have that too, my friend. Okay. All you got to do is go right to our shop, lbhtshow.com/shop. All right. I know it's hot outside, so don't be frightened by what we're wearing. I know we're wearing hoodies, but we have tanks, tees, we have shorts, we have all kinds of stuff on that shop. Get yourself a little mug. We got a magic mug. If you don't know what a magic mug is, check it out. Go take a look. All right. So those are a few ways you can support the show, and it is greatly appreciated. We put damn near every dollar right back into the show.
And we just got another anonymous Cash App, just saying thank you. And thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. All right. Let's get back to the show. All right. So
1 second though, just a little ask if we have a Venmo. We do not currently have a Venmo. We're just on PayPal and Cash App right now.
Yeah. We have PayPal?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got PayPal. All right. So David Tepper?
Yes.
Okay.
David Tepper, the newborn owner of the Carolina Panthers, who's been trying to get a lot of fan favor by doing little things that fans have been wanting for years, like getting rid of the NFL logo at midfield and putting the Panthers logo there, building an indoor practice facility so that they can actually practice when it rains because they're professionals. He took down the statue of the previous owner out front, him and a few Black Panthers around him for absolutely no reason, because you haven't won a Super Bowl and nobody really likes you. People were happy about that. And then I guess sort of the other shoe dropped today when he said that, he wants to build a new stadium, but he's not paying for it. He's not going to pay for it by himself. He's only going to pay for a third, and the people of Charlotte will have to pay for the rest. They have to want it, he says, in order for them to build a new stadium. And it's incredible to me that this early on, you're going with these thinly veiled threats.
Okay.
Because the implication there being, if you don't want the stadium, that's fine. We won't build the stadium, and I'll just go somewhere where we can get a stadium with me only paying for a third of it, is really what he's saying. Because he's going to get a new stadium. That's not in debate. He's getting a new stadium, and it's just a matter of where it's going to be. It could be in Charlotte or it could be somewhere else, and that's up to the people of Charlotte. And it's ridiculous to me to see the owner doing that, especially when you don't have a winning team. You just ran out arguably the greatest player in franchise history, rather unceremoniously, mind you. Kind of pushed Cam out the door and left with a lot of bad feelings between the organization and its greatest player. And like I said, you don't have a winning team. You have coaches with absolutely no track record. You've got Sam Darnold out here as your face of the franchise quarterback talking about, I don't need a vaccine. And then to choose this time to be like, hey, give me $1 billion or however much it ends up being to build a brand new stadium is just awful.
Yeah. Darius says no dome will keep a Super Bowl from being held in Carolina. Yeah, that's a good point.
Just
But
welfare for rich people. That's America. Correct.
yeah, and that was about to be my comment too. And me and B Tepper threatening the fans. Yeah, who does he think he is? Yeah, that's my thing. I don't think any of these owners should get any funding, zero funding from the public. They're all billionaires. I would say almost all, but I think they're all billionaires now.
Yeah, they are now because Jerry Richardson's gone.
Yeah,
he was the poor boy.
yeah. In fact, billionaires shouldn't be able to get any loans whatsoever in this country. Once you hit $1 billion, you just qualify for getting loans, getting credit cards. Just pay it. Just pay cash. But definitely, I mean, I don't care how much they're making. It's your company. I don't care about the finances. Don't take from the public.
Yes,
That's my whole thing. So hell no. And he only wants to pay a third for the stadium.
yes.
Man, get the hell out of here. You don't even want to pay half?
A third from the taxpayers, and then possibly
Some
a third
investors.
from PSL owners. He said, no. It's all the people.
He wants a third from PSL owners?
That's how he put it. Like, after a couple of years, you're going to start selling PSLs, and that'll eventually pay for the rest.
Okay. That's another scam.
Yes. I'm going to charge you for the right to pay me more money for this seat.
That's despicable.
It is. And David Tepper is a dirtbag.
Yeah,
But, moving on. That's all I wanted to say about that. Like, you're out here a couple years into your tenure as the owner, haven't accomplished anything, and you're talking about, hey, maybe I'll move the team. I don't know. Unless you want to give me a bunch of money. Fans saying Mark Davis is the poorest. Yeah, now. Before it was Jerry Richardson, he was only worth, I say only, he was worth like $500 million, I believe. But yeah, Mark Davis is definitely the poorest now.
Yeah, Mark Davis, I think, is doing something real shady with his money, man. It's like he's rich, but he never has any money. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Vegas was the wrong place for him to end up there. Yeah. All right.
Derek asking, worst hamstring, Sammy Watkins versus Saquon Barkley. Listen, I can't answer that because I don't ever know if Sammy Watkins is hurt or if he just don't feel like playing that week.
Okay, look, we got to spend a few minutes talking about this because I put it in the headline.
Yeah.
KD versus Jwill. All right, so the Brooklyn Nets are dominating the Milwaukee Bucks right now in the playoffs, and embarrassing fashion. Like, they won by almost 40 points the other day, and Kevin Durant just looks unstoppable because he is, and there's a lot of highlight shots of him just shooting over Giannis, who is
I feel so bad for Giannis, man.
Look, it is what it is, man. Like, I don't feel bad because there's nobody that can stop him. And Giannis is an elite defender. He's an elite defender. And KD is having his way with them. He blows right by him. He's crossing them up. He's hitting these jumpers in his face, and there's nothing he can do about it. And that's not just for KD. Any elite scorer, if they're on, they're on. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. So whatever, man, whatever. But I guess on this show, Jason Williams, what show is he on? He's on one of those morning shows. I think he's on the show with Keyshawn.
I don't watch it, so I don't know.
I think he's on the show with Keyshawn.
Maybe somebody in the chat knows.
Yeah. But he basically said that when he had a conversation with Kevin Durant, he was insulted that he was being compared to Giannis. And he said, don't ever compare me to Giannis ever. I'm better than that man or whatever. And KD immediately came out and just said, yeah, that's BS. I'd never said anything like that. Jwill's a liar. And then Steven Jackson followed up like, yeah.
Jwill's a liar. Nobody talks to him.
Yeah. And look, I've never heard anything about Jason Williams and his shenanigans. So, I mean, that's all new to me. But it doesn't surprise me. And listening to Steven Jackson just say, hey, look, man, these guys will do and say anything for these TV networks. And I feel like that's true. Yeah. In fact, I'm almost certain that's what it is, man. I know they had their pre-production meetings, and I think they just script everything that they say. Mm-hmm. And they might have had a conversation along those lines, but it didn't go anything like that. And then they're just like, well, we'll just, we'll lie a little bit.
My
exaggerate a little bit.
Yeah, my initial reaction to hearing that was KD didn't say that. Jason Williams is lying. He's just lying so he can have a story, and then people will talk about him because nobody talks about Jason Williams.
Yeah. Yeah, Derek, I see. Yeah, Derek said Jose said that about Davis, like Oakland ain't Oakland. Yeah, but Oakland don't have money like Vegas money. Okay, so and organized crime. So
Attitude, bro. He said KD's a bad person off TV. You ever seen him off TV?
why do you think he's a bad person? What makes him bad? Now, if you want to say because he's always trolling people on the internet, yeah. I can't
and Deshaun, I know you'd bet money that KD said that because you just don't like KD.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I don't put it past anybody. These are hyper competitive players. So he could have said that, but the problem is, if he said that, you're not supposed to report that, dude.
Right. Yeah. Whether he said it or not isn't even the issue with this. It's the fact that Jason Williams went on TV and told everybody that he said it.
Yeah. Deshaun says, KD is so soft. Apparently, Jwill goes to bat for him more than anyone on ESPN, and KD just sulks and gets emotional anytime his name is mentioned. I'm not going to argue with that. Yo, KD is an emotional player. Look, when the Nets win, because they're going to win, when the Nets win, it's easily going to be the dorkiest team to ever win a championship. Like, they're all dorks. They're all dorks. I'm not gonna deny that. And yes, KD is an emotional person, but so what? It doesn't matter how often Jason Williams goes to bat for him. You don't put out personal conversations like that. Why in the world would KD tell you something like that and be cool with you saying that on TV while you're playing that team? Now, obviously, the Bucks don't have any answer for him, but yo, man, Giannis is that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, Giannis ain't no joke. Look, they're facing. If they go out and lose this next game, they're down 0-3. That's basically elimination. So they're facing an elimination game this coming or tomorrow. You're going to see the best from Giannis most likely, and the best from Giannis could be scary, right?
Yeah.
Why would you, even if you're KD, why would you want to poke the bear? Hell no. Jwill, man, shut your mouth. Don't say that.
And again, immediately after it came out, Steven Jackson put up a video saying nobody in the NBA talks to Jason Williams. Nobody.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to get attention.
Yeah. Mikey said Jwill said they were at a party and he told KD that if he and AD had a baby, it would be Giannis. Okay. Well, even more reason why, like, you're at a party, so you're saying, like, I mean, just don't say that. Okay. You're at a party. He definitely doesn't want you quoting him. Like, that's a private conversation. Just a little says the Nets are the most unhappy group of great players I ever seen. They are going to win the championship easily, and I doubt they enjoy it. They're the group most likely to go play, go play Dungeons and Dragons afterwards.
I don't. No, that is Tim Duncan by far.
Yeah. That is Tim Duncan.
But listen, just a little. How happy would you be if you had to hang out with, work with, and travel with Kyrie all year?
Well, look. Here's the thing. KD and Kyrie be like, okay, whatever, because they've been there, done that. Harden's going to party. Now, Harden likes to party.
Harden parties regardless.
Yes.
Harden parties when he loses.
Yeah. If the other team wins, he's going to go party with them. Okay. That's just what it is. Deshaun says, greatest scorer I've ever seen, but doesn't mean he's not soft emotionally. But I'll tell y'all during the OT show why I had an issue with what KD said. All right.
Allegedly said.
Yeah. Yes. And that's a reminder. If you want to be a part of the overtime show, just right above me, patreon.com/LBHT show. If you have $3 to spend, man, it's worth the money. All right. Look, a lot of these players are emotional, and don't get it twisted. A lot of your players, your favorite players from back then, or Deshaun's case from before his time, they're emotional too.
You know why? Because humans are emotional.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just what was it I was watching? It was about Ryan Leaf, right? And it was Flemlo Raps. You guys ever heard of Flemlo Raps? He does these great stories. If you haven't heard of him, He's on YouTube, man. He does great stories on NFL players, man. He's an amazing storyteller. But he did a story on Ryan Leaf and how Ryan Leaf, man, he competed over everything. Like he had in his mind that if you're not a winner, like you're worthless as a person, and that just psychologically just messed him up, right? A lot of these players aren't that far away from that. You know what I mean? Like they're not that far away from that. So emotional, absolutely. You have to be to put in that kind of work and have that kind of desire.
Deshaun, you're in our chat right now.
What's Deshaun saying?
Flemlo's the GOAT. Come on, man.
Look. Flemlo does a different type of YouTube show, right?
Yeah.
He does more storytelling. Flemlo, he's really dope. You guys should definitely check him out, man. Definitely check him out. Great storyteller. Maybe one of these days we can get him on the show. Attitude Pop says it's a reason why kids' name is Katie's name is a snake. Okay, all right. I ain't gonna read all that. Wait, he talking smack behind people and stop getting on super teams. Which team? Look, everybody does a super team. If you want to win a championship, if you're serious about winning a championship, you're gonna pair it with another superstar. All right, that's just the way it is. So
that's right. That's right, Ferris. Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Well,
I'm the GOAT.
There you go.
And don't read that nonsense follow up from Deshaun. Well,
LBHT is a GOAT too. There you go. Plenty of room. I accept. Okay. All right. We want to get into some bonus time now.
We had, I thought, one more. Well, no, that was it. Yeah. Okay. Just we didn't even mention Jwan James, and I'll just give my.
I didn't mention Jwan James,
but I mean, we didn't really talk about him.
Okay.
I'll give my thoughts on him real quick. It's not a big contract. They're kind of essentially just kind of locking him in with a kind of right of first refusal type of thing. But he's a guy who, by the time he suits up for the Ravens, will have missed 3 years and had 2 major injuries. So I'm not sure why anyone's excited about that.
Yeah, it's hard to get excited. I mean, is he a good player? Yeah, he's a good player. It's been a long time since he's played, though. And when we're talking about getting a good player, we always why do we nitpick so much over here with elite level talent, man, or
right.
just better talent? Because man, the way you guys talk about Julio, you would think he missed the last 3 years of football, right? He missed 9 games. Oh man, I don't know, injuries. I don't know about that guy. When we're talking about getting Kenny Galladay, how many games did he miss? I don't know about him. I don't know. I don't know if he could hold up. Sammy Watkins, perfect. That's the guy right there. Want him. Love it. Jwan James, excellent. Yep. Sign me up. Why do we, here's what scares me about Jwan James. We signed him to a 2-year deal, essentially a 1-year deal. He's not going to play this year at all. You have Villanueva playing the left or right tackle, projected a right tackle, right? If Ryan Stanley is healthy, you got him playing right tackle. I'm not sure how well he's going to play. He hasn't. I don't think he's ever played right tackle before.
No.
And he was declining at left tackle. So, if he doesn't play well, or he just plays okay, right? We're not going to bring him, but we might end up cutting him. He might play one more year, or we'll probably cut him, and we still have to fill the right tackle spot. Are we going to go and get a right tackle next year, or are we going to say, well, hey, look, we got Jwan James here. It's all good. That is taken care of. We can draft somebody later, right? Like, you can't keep pushing players on offense, back for later to remedy that, because that's what happened this year. We could have gotten Tevin Jenkins in the draft. We could have drafted him, and what did we go for? A project on defense.
Yes.
Right. I want to keep taking shots at Oweh, but we had we had other needs. Right. What's the priority, guys? What's the priority? Right. Is it edge rusher, or is it tackle, protecting your quarterback?
Yeah.
Right. So, all right.
Justin
Deshaun,
was asking who the or to name the non-super team that have won a championship, and there's been a few here and there, but they are the exception. Raven Ron points out the Raptors. Yeah, and the Raptors won that championship because everybody in Golden State got hurt, right? I think you could look at Dallas and say maybe they weren't a super team. They had Dirk Nowitzki playing out of his mind, but mostly role players outside of him. Houston with Olajuwon, because the super team lost Michael Jordan for those 2 seasons. And so they were able to get in there and get those 2 rings. But yeah, it is absolutely the exception rather than the rule. Super teams have existed since the beginning of time in basketball. I mean, in fact, you remember we were talking about the New York Renaissance, the all-black team, and I mentioned they had a rivalry with the original Celtics based out of New York.
Yeah,
they played in the ABL. They won the first 2 championships, and fans they had a campaign saying disband the Celtics because they were too good. They were so much better than everybody else. And you know what? The league broke them up. They made all the players go and play for different teams. Like that's always how it is in basketball. You get the most talent on the team and that team wins. Yeah. Like you go after those superstars.
Yep. Emphasis says 04 Pistons. I mean, that's another one you could, but I mean,
I don't agree with the Pistons take though.
Billups wasn't. I'm not sure if he wasn't an elite player, but
but both the Wallace brothers, or not brothers, but both the Wallaces were.
They're up there. I mean, Ben Wallace on the defensive side was easily the best defensive player in the league. Yeah, I think he won like 4 or 5 defensive player of the year awards. I mean, they had it on the defensive side. On the defensive side, they were superstars for sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the point is, I mean, it's very few that can do it, and it just doesn't happen often. You go and play with other great players to win championships, and don't let anybody tell you that Jordan didn't do that. Jordan played with Scottie Pippen, who's one of the greatest players of all time. Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest players of all time. Right? I mean, he had a lot of talent on that team.
Deshaun, he says the 06 Heat, and yeah, I mean, I could see that one. I mean, they had a lot of talent, obviously, because you need a lot of talent. But yeah, I'm probably not a super team. You better go somewhere else with that Steph and Clay talk. They only had the 2 greatest shooters of all time, and they're not a super team,
right? And that bench was full of guys who were former NBA All-Stars,
and an elite defender and passer in Draymond.
Right. I mean, the MVP was Iguodala, who was a former All-Star back in Philly, right? That team had a lot of talent on that bench, right? Throughout the team. So, yeah, Celtics were a super team. Lakers, 80s teams were super teams. You're absolutely right, Raven Ron. So, I mean, LeBron didn't create a super team. The big 3 and the Celtics didn't create the super team. Like, that's not.
I was saying, people blame LeBron. LeBron wasn't even the first super team during his career.
Right. No,
he went to Miami because of Boston.
Yeah. And people want to argue semantics. Oh, well, they didn't ask to be put in that situation. They got traded. They didn't orchestrate that. You think Kevin Garnett didn't orchestrate that? Yeah. You think he was just like, all right, it's time to leave. It's time to leave Minnesota because I just can't win anything here. Go ahead and trade me anywhere, though. Doesn't matter, winning or losing. Go ahead and trade me anywhere. No. They pull strings to get those guys together, and they were all on the same page with that. So, 1986 Celtics was dangerous with Larry Bird, Bill Walton, Danny Ainge, Robert Parrish. Absolutely right, Mr. J6. Yep, absolutely right. Felipe says Owe will change my mind this year. I hope so. Look, I am not rooting against Owe. I'm not. I hope he does. I hope he shocks me. And I'm gonna root for him. As soon as that ball snaps, I'm gonna be cheering for him. Every tackle he makes, every sack he gets, I'm gonna be cheering for him. But like I said, I gotta call it how I see it. It's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Look, we don't sugarcoat things on this show, man. I don't want to sound like we're downers all the time, but a lot of missed opportunities to improve this team and we're not doing it, and it's going to come back to bite us. I don't think you guys feel comfortable with everything that we've done. I don't think you feel comfortable saying that. Yes, I think we're gonna make a run to the Super Bowl, and I know there are two teams that feel very confident about it in the AFC. One is the Kansas City Chiefs, the other is the Buffalo Bills. I think they feel very confident. Now, hold on, Mikey. You hold on a second now. Hold on now. He said always Ferguson 2.0.
No,
I ain't give up on Sack Daddy. I ain't give up on Sack Daddy. Yo, they said Sack Daddy came to camp toned up.
Still not able to change directions?
They didn't say that. They didn't say that.
Okay.
That's fake news over there, B.
My bad.
All right. They say he's looking better. Okay. He's grasping the playbook better, and he's leading the young ones out there. Okay. I'm not closing the door on Sack Daddy just yet.
Damn, Raven Ron said he's Sergio Kindle 2.0. Kindle never even played a snap, did he?
I think he did.
I don't think he did, because he fell down the steps and cracked his skull.
That was the second year.
I don't think he ever played.
I think he did. I think it was the second year. I'm looking up right now. Sergio Kindle. Man.
This is why we need a producer.
I know. Yeah, we do. Sergio Kindle stats. Yeah, he played. Yeah, he played in 3 total games.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good for him. I mean, sort of. What's up, living legend? It's not good, but it's better than what I thought had happened to him.
Yeah. What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through. Attitude Pop says KG need to stop talking. He said LeBron ain't did enough to be the king of the NBA. Can't be talking. Only got 1 ring. All of them talk.
Listen, y'all talk about KD being soft. I need you to take that energy
KG,
and direct
Kevin
it
Garnett.
I know. I'm saying they're talking about Durant earlier. I need to take that energy and direct it at Kevin Garnett, because that's who you're looking for.
Well, yes. I mean, everybody in that Boston team, man, they are such haters. They're they're mad because they felt like they should have had more than 1 ring.
Mad at their teammate for getting
but you don't.
Ring.
Yeah, that's the ultimate hate.
Ray got another ring. Yeah, Rondo got another ring.
yeah. That's the ultimate hate right there. Yeah, Ferris, KG. Yeah, he's not happy with yeah. Ray Allen. Ray Allen did what he had to do. He got another ring. I ain't mad at him.
Yeah.
All right, we'll read a couple more comments and then we will be up out of here. We're going to start the overtime show. Don't say Ray Allen's a hater. No, Ray Allen's not a hater. He's not a hater. How can he be a hater? He left. He went and got another ring. Okay. I don't know what Garnett and the answer. I'm forgetting his name. Paul Pierce.
The truth.
The truth.
Not the answer.
The truth. I'm not sure what they wanted him to do. Take less money.
Him to stay and lose.
Yeah,
Ubuntu.
if you wanted him to stay so bad, why didn't you take a pay cut and pay him?
Ubuntu. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Attitude Pop says, yes, they're winning this year. Lamar's about to awaken. Demon in himself was made to take over the NFL and beat Mahomes. Yeah. He hasn't done it yet.
Joseph said Ferguson looks like one of those bottles on a conveyor belt when he tries to change direction.
Living legend, right. Man. Right on time with your late question. We just did a whole segment on that, man. Jwill just, man, use more discretion when you're telling personal stories.
Or don't lie.
Whichever one it is.
All right, Davon. Thanks for coming through, man.
All right, man. Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, we're going to start this up. Ferguson looks like one of those bottles on a conveyor belt when he tries to change directions. Yeah. Get your jokes in now. All right. The Sack Daddy takes the field and he gets 8 sacks this year. Okay. He gets 8 sacks. Then you're going to know.
Then you'll see.
Yeah. He said, whatever. I got to watch Batum play in the playoffs. That's right. All right, couple more. Mr. J the Six. Ray Allen was the reason the Heat got a chance to win a second ring. Absolutely. The corner three brought fake fans that left the arena back to clawing at the door. I wouldn't call them fake fans. In fact, I would call them real fans because I could not stand to watch my team lose and watch the other team celebrate on the court. If I think that's what's going to happen, yeah, I'm exiting early. Speaking of exiting early, did you see Spike Lee get up and leave early before the game when Atlanta bounced them?
No, I didn't.
Oh, fans, we're gonna talk. Oh, we're gonna talk about it. Shh, we're gonna talk about it in the overtime show. All right, guys, we are getting out of here. If you want to be a part of this conversation where we roast Ferris and Knicks Nation, patreon.com/LBHT show. $3. You got $3, man. Sign up. Takes a couple of minutes. Guys, give us a few minutes and we're gonna post it. And you know what to do. Everybody else, have a good night, and we'll see you next
Ferris,
time.
we advertised it, so yes, we have to talk about it in case other people show up.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it for as long as you want to talk about it.
Listen,
or other people.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
All right, y'all. Peace out.